Help me reach 9,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. She stopped my hand with 2 fingers when I reached to brush a strand of hair from her face. Not a slap, not even a full touch. Devor a kaludnik duima vozdika. Iya uporsa. She kept scrolling on her phone. Don't start, Jenna said. I'm exhausted. I stood there with 2 plates cooling on the counter. Salmon and asparagus. Tuesday night, my kitchen, my house. No fight, no reason. Just a wall where Rangsha Balajana. Exhausted from what? I asked. From carrying everything. She muttered, still scrolling. From being the only one who wants a life. We'll eat later. We didn't. She drifted to the couch, started a show, tucked her feet under a blanket I bought. When I put the plates in the fridge, she added, like crossing a box on a form. And please, none of your hugs. I need space tonight. If I'd known where that space was headed, I'd have saved the salmon for a neighbor and stuck a date on the container. I went to my workshop after the dishes, sat at the bench, and fixed a guy's busted drill. It's my job and my therapy. I run a small maintenance outfit, garages, HVAC units, fences that get kicked in after football games. I'm good at fixing things that want to be fixed. People are trickier. My plan that week had been simple. More patience, more attention. I'd been doubling down on little things. Coffee ready when she woke up, gas tank filled, a new charger by her side of the bed. In return, I was getting not now, later, and the new classic, you're too much. That was the first signal, not the words, the tone, like I was something she had to manage, not someone she chose. Next night, we had dinner with her friend Melissa and Melissa's boyfriend, Evan, a guy who sells cars with the energy of a Labrador. Patio seating at a place Jenna likes because they put lemon peels in the water. I showed up 10 minutes early to get a quiet table. Jenna showed up 10 minutes late with Melissa, laughing too loudly. Did you order without me? Jenna dropped her bag, didn't look at me. I had them hold it, I answered. She gave me that flat smile. You and your control. Evan clapped me on the shoulder. Mark, my man, you look like you're about to negotiate the national budget. Just trying to avoid shouting over a speaker, I said. Melissa leaned in, eyes on Jenna. We like the music. Congratulations, I told her. You and speakers were made for each other. We ordered. Food came. Jenna talked to Evan about people who take life lightly. Melissa made faces at me from behind her glass. When the server asked about dessert, Melissa looked right at me. Jenna needs more adventure, she said. Someone should kidnap her for the weekend. Hard to kidnap someone who's always tired, I answered, sipping water. Jenna set her fork down with a click. You love to keep score. No, I said, meeting her eyes. I love to keep a calendar. Different tool. She scoffed. God, you sound like my dad. Your dad installed your garage shelving for free, I reminded her. Good man to sound like. Evan tried to cut the tension by chuckling. Live a little, Mark. I do, I told him. I just don't outsource it to strangers on patios. Jenna's mouth twitched. Maybe I need someone more fun. I didn't blink. I set my napkin down and waved for the server. Split the check, I told him. We're moving to separate tabs from now on. Evan looked confused. Dude, it's 1 check. It used to be, I said. Now it's 2. Jenna folded her arms. Really? Really? I confirmed. Mandatory double dates are done too. You want a girls' night? Have 3. I won't be the entertainment or the target. Eat your dessert. I'm leaving in 10. Drama, Melissa sang. Boundaries, I corrected. Different tool. Jenna's eyes narrowed. You're punishing me. No, I told her. I'm just not paying for the privilege of getting mocked. Evan, good luck with the quarter. Evan raised his hands. I didn't. I know, I said. You're fine. I laid cash for my part and stood. Jenna didn't reach for me. She didn't ask me to stay. She just watched me like I'd dropped a wrench in her plan. On the walk to the truck, I texted my office manager, Lainey, move my Friday bid meeting earlier. Cancel the weekend winery thing. I'll be on a job Saturday. I opened our shared calendar and removed myself from Melissa's boat day. Then I texted Jenna, so it would be in writing. From here on, separate checks socially, separate calendar. We'll meet where there's respect. She didn't reply. At home, she slept with her back to me like a barricade. I set an alarm for 5, went for a run, and put 2 protein shakes in the fridge. One had her name on it. In the shop next day, Dave, my foreman, Ex-Marine, voice like gravel, leaned on the doorframe while I fixed a compressor. You look like someone put a penny in your disposal, he observed. Just sorting a process, I said. Which process? The one where I give attention and get stone walls and jokes, I said. I'm changing the inputs. He scratched his beard. You cutting her off? I'm removing myself from where I'm not respected, I answered. Budget, time, space. About time, he said. You're a good man, but not a doormat. That was the belief, I said. Now it's policy. At noon I texted Jenna. No more autopilot. If you want plans, ask with notice. If you want my time, you meet me halfway. We'll keep things simple and clean. She read it. Left it on read. Then, mid-afternoon, she sent a photo. 2 pastries, my favorite kind, on our counter with a note. Sorry for snapping. Dinner tonight? Your choice. First softening. An old trick, a little sugar after a slap. I sent back. Thanks. 7 p.m. Burgers. Short and sweet. She replied with a thumbs up. That night she was almost herself. Cooked the burgers, asked about my day, put her phone face down. We ate on the porch. 5 minutes in, she tried to float a test. I know I've been distant, she started. Accurate, I said. It's just, I've been thinking about what I want. Who I am. I want more travel, more spontaneity. Plan it, I told her. I'll see if it fits. She frowned. That's so unromantic. It's honest, I said, and it keeps us from using each other as props. She twirled the straw in her seltzer. I might go to Denver next month. Melissa's thinking about a long weekend. Send the dates, I answered. I'll adjust the dog walker. She studied me like she was waiting for an explosion that didn't come. She didn't get one. She got a clear path and a pen. After dinner, she came close for the first time in a while, kissed me, and asked if I wanted to watch a movie. We made it through half. She dozed, head on my shoulder, hand on my chest as if to check if I was still there. It felt like movement. It felt like the eye of a storm. Later, in the kitchen, I noticed a new suitcase by the pantry. Shiny, tag still on. I lifted it. Empty. In our office, on the computer, a browser tab with flight searches glowed like a flare, nearest airports, weekend fares. Another tab, a social profile with a familiar name. Daniel, the ex from college. Catching up, the last comment said, we should take a trip like old times. A little seed planted in public soil. I closed the laptop and smiled at nothing. The picture sharpened. 2 days later, we were at Melissa's birthday at a wine bar. I went because I said I would, and because sometimes you walk into the fire to see who throws water and who throws gasoline. The place was packed with women who speak in crescendos. I took the seat at the end of the table near the exit. Melissa squealed when Jenna handed her a gift. Evan arrived late with helium balloons that drifted into a ceiling fan and popped one by one like punctuation. Jenna had a glow that wasn't about me. New dress, different perfume, hair done in a way I hadn't seen in a year. She looked at me like I was a stool in the corner of her stage. Smile, Mark, Melissa chirped. We're celebrating. I'm smiling on the inside, I told her. You could borrow my ex, Melissa joked. He's very available. Pass, I replied. Jenna sipped her wine and tapped her glass. So, girls' trip. We're thinking something spontaneous. Define spontaneous, I asked. Something where we don't have to submit an itinerary to a committee, she said. Good, I said. Because the committee just restructured. Effective immediately. If you want to travel, you book, you pay, you go. You do not use my time as a safety net. I'm not your airport shuttle or backup plan. If you're out of town, I'm not on standby. Those days are over. Melissa blinked. Wow. Clarity, I said. Different tool. Jenna tilted her head. So supportive. Radically, I said. Also, if we're in a public place, we don't poke each other. That's a new rule. You want to talk? We do it at home. You want to perform? Find a bigger audience. Melissa snorted. He's issuing rules. I'm issuing standards, I said. I'm not your handler. I'm a man who gives you a good life. Treat it like one. Jenna leaned back. Someone woke up and decided he's a CEO. Somebody had to, I told her. She put her phone on the table. A message lit up. Gate B12. Will's up soon. She flipped it face down quick, but I'd seen enough. A flight, a gate. She wanted me to see. Wanted that tiny shock. I stood and dropped cash for my own drinks. I have a 6 a.m. bid. I'm out. You're my ride, she said, a little too sharp. Not tonight, I answered. You have options. Use them. Are you serious? Dead, I said. Enjoy your friends. On the way out, I passed Evan. He looked at me like he wanted to say something brave. He settled for, drive safe. At 9:40, as I set out the trash, my phone buzzed. A photo came through. Airplane window, wing, clouds too bright. Jenna's text. Only jealous people make drama. Don't start. Be an adult. See you next week. Under the reflection on the window, a shape. Male. Familiar jawline from that old college photo. Daniel. There it was. Not an accident. A performance sent right on cue. I didn't reply. I didn't ask questions. I didn't write a paragraph about trust. I put my phone on the counter like a tool that wasn't needed, turned off the kitchen light, and slept better than I had in months. At 7 a.m., I called Lainey. 2 tasks, I told her. Book a moving crew for today at noon. Deliver 6 boxes to Harold and Linda's place, the in-laws, and a garment rack. Clothes labeled J in the master closet. Shoes too. Also call a locksmith. We're updating the house code and the side door key. Leave her a new code on paper, taped to the front. It expires Sunday. Lainey didn't ask why. That's why she works for me. Anything else? She asked. Yes, I said. Find me a family law packet from the county clerk, fill out the contact info, and print a checklist. Copy. By noon, the boxes left my driveway. By 3, the locksmith changed the code. At 4, I sat with a notary at Dave's wife's office and signed what needed signing. I added the photo of the wing to the folder. Not because I needed drama, but because I like my files complete. For a week, my phone was a quiet, well-behaved rectangle. No messages from Jenna. No check-ins. No, we landed. No, how's the dog? The silence confirmed what I already knew. She expected me to chase. That was her real trip, waiting to watch me run. I didn't. I worked. I went to the gym at 5. I took Dave to see a little warehouse I'd been eyeing for expanding the shop. I grilled steak on Wednesday and ate it with the dog staring like he'd forgotten he had his own food. Thursday night, I washed the truck. Friday morning, I met a client at a job site where the gate stuck and the owner thought force fixed things. I showed him the hinge he'd bent, wrote an estimate, and laughed with Dave about men who hit problems with more problem. Sunday, late afternoon, the garage door chirped. She'd used the temporary code. I didn't get up. I was at the kitchen table balancing the payroll ledger. She walked in like someone returning from a spa, not a week-long disappearing act. Hey, Jenna said, as if she were coming in from the backyard. She set her toad on the chair, took out a water bottle, unscrewed it, and drank slowly. It was a performance, too. She made me watch her be calm. We should talk, she continued. And before you go there, just don't. Don't do the macho jealousy thing. Please, don't start. We're adults. I looked at her. She was waiting for fireworks. Waiting for me to accuse and plead so she could argue and win. She wanted to see me sweat. She wanted to put out the fire she lit and take a bow. We were just like old friends, she added. Okay. It was nostalgic. I needed to breathe. She was smiling. Not big. Just a thin little slice. Testing how much she could enjoy my face. I stood, walked to the console by the hall, opened a drawer, and took out a plain manila folder. I set it on the island between us. She watched my hand like it was a snake. What's this? She asked. Everything, I said. I'm actually done. Her little smile vanished like someone yanked a plug. Panic came up hard and ugly, and she couldn't swallow it fast enough. She flipped the folder. Saw checklists, a signed form, the photo, wing, cloud, silhouette. Her hands trembled just a touch. She tried to hide it by fixing a stray hair that didn't need fixing. What is this supposed to mean? She asked. It means the result of your last few months, I told her. You got what you earned. Are you insane? No, I said. Clear. You can't. I can't, I cut in. And I did. Your clothes are at your parents'. They know you'll pick them up. I changed the code. The new one on the door expires at 9. You have time to grab essentials. After that, email only. No more house access. Her mouth opened, shut, opened again. The anger came first because it's cheap and fast. You're abandoning me, she tried. I'm refusing to participate in what this has become, I answered. I loved you. I respected you. I asked for the same. You kept testing. You showed me your answer at 40,000 feet. It was a trip, she insisted. You are so dramatic. It was a trip I didn't consent to sponsor, I said. I adjusted accordingly. She stabbed a finger at the folder. You planned this. I anticipated the need for clarity, I said. She paced 2 steps, came back, slapped her palm on the counter. You just want to punish me. No, I said. I want my life to match my standards. I'm not going to beg for a person who delights in starving me out. You didn't even ask, she said. You didn't either, I said. You just informed. She scoffed. We were just friends. Old friends. And I'm your old husband, I replied. We all have categories. She came around the island, softer suddenly. It was quick, like a singer switching genres mid-song. Palms up, eyes wounded. Illusion of Change, 2nd edition. Mark, she said gently. I went because I felt unheard. I wanted to remember who I am. I missed you. I realized how much I want to fix this. We can do counseling. We can reset. I'll cancel everything. I'll delete numbers. No, I said. You're throwing away years. I'm ending the part where those years get disrespected. She tried to touch my arm. I stepped back just enough to keep it clean. Please, she whispered. This is me being kind, I answered. Kind to us both. You get to go live the story you've been writing. I get to live mine with peace. She switched back to rage like she'd been saving it in a bottle. You are so full of yourself. Full of standards, I said. It's new for you. You'll adjust. She put both hands on the counter and leaned in. What if I don't leave? Then the code will handle it, I told her. And my schedule will too. I won't be here. You moved my things, she said, like the fact had just caught up. Correct. You made my parents accomplices. They're your parents, I said. They should know where their daughter's life is. I was polite. They were quiet. She shook her head. You think this makes you strong. It makes me done, I said. You have 45 minutes. Need a box. She stared. She waited for me to add, but there wasn't one. She realized it. That's when the insults came. Clumsy, tired ones. I let them bounce off. Dave honked outside. We'd planned to look at that warehouse. I picked up my keys from the bowl and nodded at the hallway. Take what you need, I told her. You know where the essentials are. You're a monster, she hissed. I'm a man who kept his word to himself, I said. Email me if you have a question about logistics. She grabbed her tote and marched down the hall. Doors opened, drawers slid. I stood at the front door and checked my watch. When she came back with a duffel, she paused, trying one more angle. You're going to be alone, she warned. I'm going to be free, I answered. She stepped onto the porch and turned. This is your loss. It's your result, I said. I shut the door gently. Dave watched from the truck, eyebrows up. Clean, he said when I got in. Cold, but clean. Clarity beats warmth when warmth is fake, I told him. We drove to the warehouse. The owner met us. Carla, sharp, practical, handshake like a contract. We walked the floor, measuring. Halfway through, Jenna's car pulled up. She stepped out, hair wild from speed, and stormed inside like she owned the deed. Unacceptable, she said. You don't get to make unilateral decisions about our marriage. Carla looked at me. This is my wife, I said. For now. Do you want me to give you a minute? Carla asked. No, I said. This is fine. Jenna squared to me. We're not done talking. We're done, I replied. From here, email. You're hiding behind rules because you're afraid of feelings, she jabbed. I'm using rules because you use feelings like weapons, I answered. I'm not playing that game. Dave stood a respectful 10 feet away, watching like a bouncer who knew when to step in. Mark, listen. Jenna tried again, softer now that there was an audience that didn't clap. I made a mistake. You made a choice, I said. I made one too. She looked around the warehouse like it had answers. You think anyone else will put up with you? With your lists and your calendars? I'm not looking for someone to put up with me, I said. I'm looking for a partner who values what I bring. If I don't find that, I'll value it myself. Carla cleared her throat. I need to get back to those measurements. You do that, I told her. Jenna, you can leave, or you can wait in your car. Those are the options. You don't get to talk to me like. I get to talk to you like the only adult in the room. I cut in. She took a step closer. Dave took one too, casual but straight. She stopped. You love control, she spat. No, I said. I love order. Control is what you try to take every time you withheld affection and tossed me crumbs to watch me jump. Her eyes flicked to Dave. She didn't like witnesses. She tried to pivot to fragile. Can we please just go home and talk? She asked. Please. No, I answered. There isn't a home for this conversation anymore. There's a house. You have 30 minutes left on the code. She stood there, shaking with words she couldn't shape into something that would land. Then she turned and walked out, heels clapping on the concrete like a retreat drum. Sorry, I told Carla. She shrugged. Better in the open than in the walls. About that roll-up door. We finished the walkthrough. We ran numbers. Dave cracked a joke about doors being more reliable than people, and I told him not to insult doors. That night the house was quiet. Quieter than the week without her texts. Quiet in a way that didn't require me to brace for the next little test. The dog snored. I sat at the table, wrote out a simple list. What I will accept, what I won't, who I am regardless. It looked stupid and clean and perfect. She called 3 times at 10. I didn't pick up. At 10:17, a text. You're overreacting. Let's be adults. At 10:20, please answer. At 10:32, I'm outside. She wasn't. The code held. I brushed my teeth, set my alarm, and slept the way a man sleeps when the decision is made. Next morning, an email arrived. We need to talk. I can fix this. I'll do whatever you want. I replied with one line. Communicate through email only for logistics. No meetings. No visits. This decision stands. Coward, she wrote back. Standards, I sent. Different tool. She tried a dozen more angles over the next week. Sweetness at 10 a.m., blame at noon, a photo at 2 of a coffee mug with home on it, as if merchandise fixes patterns. She even dropped a card at the door with 2 concert tickets. I gave them to Dave's teenage son and told him to take a girl who smiles at him for real. Melissa texted once too. She's hurting, she wrote. It'll pass, I responded. She's not the first person to meet a boundary. You're cold, Melissa shot back. I'm clear, I replied. Different tool. A month later, the house felt like mine again. The new warehouse lease was close. Lainey handled the last of the mail that still had Jenna's name on it. I saw Harold and Linda at the grocery store. Harold thanked me for being civil. Linda didn't look at me. That's fine. Parents are allowed to grieve their ideas. 2 months, the calls slowed. Then they stopped. Papers came back quicker than I expected. Simple, clean. No tug of war. I kept the house. I kept my business. I kept my truck, my tools, and my dog. She didn't get a piece of what she'd stopped respecting. She moved into a small apartment on the other side of town. Melissa mentioned it to someone who mentioned it to Dave. That's how I like my updates on her life, secondhand and brief. As for me, peace has a sound. It's the click of a lock you trust, the hum of a garage door that opens when you press the button, the laugh of a woman who doesn't keep score. I met Erin at a hardware store of all places, comparing drill bits. She asked which kind worked best on old plaster. We talked about anchors. We got coffee. She doesn't play hot and cold. She says what she means and listens when I do the same. I don't need fireworks. I like steady light. Some nights I sit on my back steps with a beer and text Dave to argue about which kind of ladder is the worst. He always picks the step ladder. I always say the collapsible one because it pinches your fingers if you're careless. We laugh. We plan jobs. We plan growth. I go to sleep before 10 and wake up at 5, and nobody tells me that's boring. Here's the epilogue you asked for, the truth without decorations. For a full week after that plain photo, she didn't send a single message. She started calling after she realized I wasn't going to close the gap for her. She asked for a meeting. She asked for forgiveness. I told her to forget my number, forget my street, forget the door code that no longer worked. I didn't say it with heat. I said it like a man who's finished reading a book that kept changing fonts every page. Months later, the calls finally ended. Papers processed fast. I kept what I built. She walked away with what she'd earned, which was her own company in a smaller circle. I don't gloat. I don't need to. She chose her path. I chose mine. There's no return, no maybe later, no, we were good once speech. That's nostalgia doing makeup on a bruise. I remember the minute she walked in after that week away and tried the line about not being jealous. I remember her little smile and how she wanted a performance. I gave her something better. I gave her the ending. And when she asked what it was, I told her in plain English that anyone can understand. I'm actually done. That's the last part of me she'll ever own. Those words. And the look on her face when she realized the show closed and the stage lights were off. The rest stays here, with me, in a house that finally sounds like a home. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed the story. It really helps me out. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.